My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Welcome to This Song Is Yours, a music podcast where we chat to a new guest each week, talk about their life and creative endeavours, and talk to them about some of the music they love. Our show works by chatting to our guests about music, their songwriting techniques, and occasionally getting them to make you a playlist of the songs they love. Welcome to episode 150. I'm your host, Simon Fink. Our guest today is Almost Monday. The three-piece indie pop band from San Diego have just released their first new music for 2022 with the single Sunburn. In today's episode, we're speaking with Dawson, Cole and Luke about how the band came together, their songwriting process for Sunburn, and getting them back to tour Australia. Here we go. Our guests today are an indie pop trio from San Diego, California. Having formed their band in high school when they were just teenagers, they've continued to release hit after hit of summery upbeat indie pop, with last week seeing their first new music for 2022 with the single Sunburn. Please welcome to This Song Is Yours from the band Almost Monday, Dawson, Cole and Luke. Hello, gentlemen. How are we?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having us. Super stoked.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for your time today. We are here to discuss your brand new single, which I want to get to in a minute. But the first thing I kind of want to address is, we just mentioned it before we started recording, is that you guys are here in Australia doing press in real life, in person.
Yeah.
How is it?
Yeah, it's been super great. I mean, we got in here yesterday, so still feeling a little bit of jet lag. But yesterday we went surfing at Manly Beach, checked out Bondi. Just some, I'm sure, touristy things, but we're getting it done. Yeah, just doing some promo stuff, playing a show tomorrow, which we're really excited about. First, I guess, international show for us where we're not in the US. So super excited on that. And then next week we're shooting a video. So it's jam-packed, but we're super hyped.
That is very exciting. It sounds like you guys are making the most of your time while you're here.
Yeah, for sure.
The reason why we are talking today, there is a brand new single from the band called Sunburn, which kind of follows in, I feel like, a similar vein of your singles before this, very summery, very upbeat, party kind of central. Firstly, congratulations on the track. It's a great track.
Thank you. Thanks, man.
No, of course. Are you able to, I guess, tell our listeners a little bit more about the songwriting process of the song and how it came about? Because I think from what I've heard is this one kind of took a few turns to try and get it kind of right and work out how the song was actually going to work out. Yeah, I think for us, we're always working with our really close friend and kind of mentor, Simon Oscroft, and we're always trying to switch it up and figure out new ways to, I think, stay fresh and have different, creative license for different things. So for this song, a unique thing about this track is we came into the session with just the title Sunburn and kind of looked at it as a challenge of the day, if you will, to write that song, a song called Sunburn. So it's kind of a fun way of doing it. And we don't always do it like that. But it kind of informs maybe the music. And we thought maybe that Sunburn song would sound like that, and it informed the music and stuff. So definitely a different process, but we were pretty stoked with the result of it. Yeah, of course. As I mentioned, it is a very kind of summery and upbeat track. And as you just kind of mentioned, you pulled back the curtain a little bit, but mentioned that it wasn't how you usually kind of start the songwriting process. Is there a set formula that you guys have? Is there, I guess, Dawson, do you usually bring lyrics to the group, or Luke or Cole, is it something where you guys will have like a melody or a riff that you'll then bring to Dawson, or what is the kind of process of the band when it comes to songwriting?
It's pretty cool. It's kind of changes all the time. We all are pretty, democratic about parts. Like sometimes Dawson will pick up a guitar and start playing something, or Cole will start playing a bass line or whatever, and then we just kind of go with it. More times than not, we usually come in with some type of reference, like what we're really vibing with at the time, kind of what artists we're listening to or whatever, and kind of try to get all on the same page and then go from there.
Yeah, of course. You guys started the band when you were in high school, to my understanding. I think, Dawson, you were the kind of connecting glue that brought the two other gentlemen together.
Yeah, so Luke and I had been friends for honestly a really long time, grew up together and played music together. And I met Cole through some mutual friends we had. And I met him out surfing, which I guess it's funny telling people that. It always seems very like San Diego. I don't think that's like a normal thing, but yeah, met him surfing, and we kind of connected from there. And I basically just, kind of asked him if, at the time, Luke and I were trying to kind of get something going. And after I met Cole, I was like, hey, you want to come jam? And I remember he just came over to my house, and we just started playing some music, talking about what we like. And just played a bunch of gigs in our buddy's surf shop, and, now we're here.
Cole, do you remember your kind of first impressions of coming into the fold and seeing what the guys were doing?
Yeah, I remember I met Dawson through mutual friends out surfing, and then randomly he ended up coming to my house after, and I didn't really know him yet, but
yeah. That was still a weird, I remember just showing up and I was in the jacuzzi and your dad's like, who are you? It was weird.
Yeah, one of my other friends, who was friends with Dawson, kind of connected us. And then at the time we were like, oh yeah, I play guitar. And then Dawson's like, oh, I'm trying to start a band. And so we just, it's like, yeah, let's do it. And kind of went from there. But yeah.
I always forget how weird, Jonah, my friend, our mutual friend, bailed. So I ended up just being in Cole's jacuzzi by myself, and his dad came out. He was like, hi. It was very fun. It was very weird. But now, I don't even know how many hours we've logged at his house. Practice everything.
I was going to say, hopefully Cole's dad is a little bit cooler with you now.
Yeah. I've probably seen way too much of us in his garage.
It is very exciting that there is a new single out. I know that you guys have been releasing music over the last kind of 6 to 12 months. And with this new single out, I imagine that there are fans and people wanting to know if we can kind of expect more from you guys this year, whether there's I think there was an EP in 2020 and 2021, whether we can expect another EP or even a full length.
Yeah, we're going to be putting out some songs this year. Definitely a lot of singles and possibly EP. Kind of still up in the air, just, nothing super set in stone. We're just writing music and finding songs we want to put out.
Of course, with music and how it's released these days, do you guys kind of enjoy the fact that it doesn't have to follow the, the structure of years gone by where it had to be album tour or whatever? You can kind of release singles or EPs as you wish these days.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
At BlueNile.com, you can find endless ways to make your moments sparkle. From classic and timeless jewelry gifts to creating the custom engagement ring of her dreams, all at prices you won't find at a traditional jeweler. And right now, you can save up to 40% on fine jewelry and 25% on engagement ring settings during the Blue Nile Anniversary Sale, going on now. Go to BlueNile.com to shop the Blue Nile Anniversary Sale and save up to 40%. That's BlueNile.com.
Yeah, I mean, like the whole like record cycle of like write an album in the studio, then go out and play it for like months and tour it. I guess it's like kind of changed now. People are just, there's no rules, just dropping singles whenever, touring whenever. So I guess we're just doing what feels right. Like, they're kind of definitely like changes. It's not like, we wrote this record to be put out on this day and then tour it. It's like kind of just whatever feels right and whatever makes sense.
Yeah. With touring, I know you guys have kind of been crushing it lately. It looks as though you've been playing most of the major festivals in the US. I think that when you return, what is it? I think that Gov Ball in June, which is incredible lineup. How has it been being able to play on the road after the last 2 years of kind of being locked up or being in lockdown?
It's been pretty cool to see because, we've grown a little bit, at least numbers wise. You look on Spotify and you see who's been your monthly listeners and you see them grow, but you never really see how that comes out in like real life. And so it was cool to see Lollapalooza was the first one that we played kind of out of the pandemic. And it was so weird. People actually showed up. It kind of feels like, we're the new kid at school where it's like everyone else kind of has their system down, has their friends, has their cliques, and we're just kind of, new to the scene. So it's really cool to see, smiling faces singing along. And it's just a really weird, but awesome experience.
Have you made any kind of connections while on the touring circuit? Any bands that you've kind of come across that are fans of yourself?
Yeah, it's weird. I think, the first year of the pandemic, the first year of like festivals back was still interesting in terms of COVID protocol. I don't think it was like a full, open, everybody open. There was still some like kind of weird, obviously protocols with it. So, I think the most, like the funny thing is you just always end up running to like, crew guys that like know you from somewhere and then you meet the other band. There, it seems like you're just 1 degree of separation from like everybody in the music industry. But no, I'm looking forward. I think like now that COVID, is kind of settling down. It seems like, this next like festival run in summer, hopefully there's a little bit more access to kind of go, hang with other bands and talk and, hang.
Of course, I didn't even think about what it would be like backstage, and I guess having to keep things safe and I guess in the bubbles or whatever it may be.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, you kind of have like your zone. You kind of go there, grab your catering, play your show, and then do your thing.
Yeah, I imagine it's probably a bit more difficult to kind of network or at least talk to people in those kind of environments.
Yeah, for sure.
With that being said, you obviously, as we mentioned, you are in Sydney this week and for a little bit of time. Can we expect to see you guys back here at any point in the future playing some shows?
Dude, I think we would love nothing more than to, for years to come. Just even yesterday, it's a little bit rainy today, but we like showed up jet lagged and stuff. But yesterday was like such a beautiful day and we kind of already fell in love with Sydney and stuff. So I don't know. Everybody's been super friendly. It just seems like kind of a similar vibe as to like what we're used to in San Diego. But I mean, dude, we'd be super hyped to come back and play in the future, play some festivals. What's the big one? It's some Splendid Grass, something with grass, green grass.
Splendour in the Grass.
Maybe that would be really sick to play a festival out here.
100%. I think that would suit you guys really well. We'll have to somehow, I don't know, we'll get the powers that be to listen to this episode and we'll get them to book you guys.
Yeah, dude. Help us get there, Simon.
I was going to mention, because you guys are from San Diego and there are some similarities, I guess, people have said that San Diego seems to have a similar kind of vibe to people who do live in Sydney. In the last day or two, I know you've only been here for a short period of time, but other than the surf, is there anything else that you can kind of see that have, I guess, similar qualities between the two cities?
I think like the weather and landscape kind of feel a little bit similar to me. You know, the beaches.
Yeah. Guys, usually we would ask our guests what they're currently listening to. If there is anything that's taken your fancy at the moment, any new records or EPs or any artists that you kind of really enjoying.
I think right now I'm listening to a lot of the new Beach House album and the new Big Thief album. Really liking those.
I've been listening to the band Hers. Unfortunately, that band those guys passed away, I think a few years ago, but their music has been really inspiring me lately. Just an amazing band.
Yeah, and I think for me, just revisiting some of the Arctic Monkeys songs and albums, and it's been cool with the whole COVID thing being lifted, seeing like live music work again. It's kind of like we got the chance to see them at a couple of festivals we were at, and seeing, you know, how their songs translate live is pretty inspiring. So
they're all very different kind of picks from the three of you. Like it's a very kind of eclectic mix between the three.
That's just, I guess, a byproduct of the streaming world these days. Just so much access to so much music at your fingertips.
Of course, with I guess such varied influences or like music that you enjoy. Do you find that you guys are kind of open to sonically trying different things, that you might have songs that are maybe more Arctic Monkeys or might lean towards Big Thief or whatever it may be?
Yeah, I think it's definitely like, you know, we've kind of, I guess over the years of writing, we've like kind of developed a little bit of like, oh, this sounds like something that we could do for Almost Monday, or like, you know, sounds like something that would fit like the vein of our music and that vibe. So I don't know, we're always like bringing in different, you know, influences of whatever we're listening to at the moment, which will kind of like steer that a little bit. But there's always like, you know, a few core influences that we go back to, and like definitely recognizing a certain pattern of like sonics and like stuff we like to use in the songs and everything.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we almost got Big Thief to feature on Sunburn. No, just playing. Could you imagine? That'd be the strangest collab ever.
I'm not going to lie. When you said that, there was a little part of me in my brain that was like, I'm so excited or so curious to hear that.
That's like crazy.
I know. Who was it? I think you guys did a remix with Sophie Tucker, or they did a remix of one of your songs.
Yeah. Yep.
I look forward to the Big Thief remix of Sunburn when it comes out in 3-4 months.
You know, again, I think that has to manifest itself through this podcast.
when you guys come back, if there's no remix and you're not on Splendour, I have a lot of answering to do to you. So we'll try and get that to work. Guys, Dawson, Cole and Luke, thank you very much for being on the podcast today. I do very much appreciate it, and congrats on the single Sunburn.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Simon.
And that's our show. A massive thank you to Almost Monday for their time. Sunburn is out now, and we've left links in the show notes if you'd like to stream the single. We also want to give a huge shout out to Samantha at Universal Music Australia for helping out with today's interview. If you like this show, please subscribe wherever you get your pods and stay up to date when new episodes are released. We release new shows each Wednesday and Friday morning, and we now have a Patreon, which you can find within the show notes of this episode. You can follow the playlist profile on Spotify, and you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Until next week, cheers.
The most powerful designer drugs are the digital ones we use daily. and we get high off them. One touch, tap, like, scroll at a time. Just like tech creators want us to. Use digital without digital using you. Learn more at sync.ithra.com.